Hello everyone, this is Whitebox here again with another game of Spirit Island. It's been a couple weeks since I played. I'm feeling a little out of practice, so I'm doing a true solo game today. This is going to be a spirit I haven't played in a long time, also one of the spirits that I've played least often, Vengeance as a Burning Plague, against an adversary I haven't played against in a while either. I'm going to be playing against France. And today I'm going to be playing against France 5. I don't want to try to tackle 6. And if you're already going up to France 2, you may as well just go up to 5, because most of the difficulty comes from 2. So let's go ahead and I'll go over France, go over Vengeance as a Burning Plague. If you know these spirits and adversaries, feel free to skip ahead a bit until I get to turn 1. But Kingdom of France, they have an additional loss condition here called Sprawling Plantations. Before setup, return all but seven towns per player to the box, which I haven't done yet. I'll make my separate town pool and put that somewhere where it's easy to see. How about over here? So I have one town on the board so far. And there are my 6 others. Invaders win if I can ever not place a town. So that's kind of the hard thing for France, is that they can only have a max of 7 towns on the board. If you get more than that, then you just lose. Stage 2 escalation is misprint on mine, demand for new cash crops, but it's demand for new cash crops. After exploring on each board, pick a land of the shown terrain. If it has towns or cities, add 1 blight, otherwise add 1 town. Level 1 France, Frontier Explorers. Except during setup, after invaders successfully explore into a land which had no towns and cities, add 1 additional explorer there. Level 2 is Slave Labor. During setup, put the Slave Rebellion event under the top 3 cards of the event deck, which I've already done. After invaders build in a land with 2 or more, replace all but 2 more explorers. Replace all but 1 explorer there with an equal number of towns. Level 3 is Early Plantation. During setup, add 1 town to the highest numbered land without a town. So that'll be up in the corner. And then add 1 town to land number 1. Triangle Trade. Whenever invaders build a coastal city, add 1 town to the adjacent land with the fewest towns. And then Slow Healing Ecosystem. When you remove 1 blight from the board, put it here instead of onto the blight card. As soon as you have 3 blight per player here, move it all back to the blight card. So that probably won't matter this game, but we'll see. So, going against France, I have Vengeance as a Burning Plague. This is a spirit all about disease, one of the most disease-centric spirits, actually the most disease-centric spirit in the game. It's from Jagged Earth. I get a special rule here: when disease would prevent a build on a board with my presence, I may let the build happen instead. I'm removing no disease, and if I do, that generates 1 fear. Lingering Pestilence. When my presence is destroyed by anything except a spirit action, I add 1 disease to where that destroyed presence was. And then Wreak Vengeance for the land's corruption. My actions treat blight on the island as also being badlands. So eventually I'm going to be doing a lot of damage, but Vengeance does grow kind of, it's tricky. You have a double growth option, but doing that means you won't be dealing with the board, and against France that's dangerous, because France leads to some early losses sometimes. So I'm going to try to avoid those. But let me go ahead and do my initial explore here. It's mountains. There's about to be a pet fight here, as my cat is coming into the room. I should just close the door, but that's okay. Alright, so I think I'm all set up. I got my France stuff ready to go. I'll go ahead and set this to the side here. Thanks, dog. Chase that cat away. And I think I am good to get started. So my initial explore was mountains. They're not going to build a town there. They will build a town there. So I'll just let land 2 go. Doesn't really matter. So maybe try to stop land 7. We'll see. Plague Bearers, also probably okay. And Fetid Breath spreads corruption, but those are all pretty high energy cost. So I don't know if I want to do that. The other thing with France is that Slave Rebellion card is going to come up at the beginning of turn 4. I always forget that, and that's one of the reasons I think that France is my hardest adversary. So I'm going to try to keep that in mind this time and see if I can get my Dahan set up in a way that makes that easier. Okay, so let's see what I want to do. So I definitely just want to add presence to the board, just because that's going to make it easier. So town, cities, blights. So if I go in land 2, I could let myself die, and that's fine because it'll add a disease there eventually. So I'll probably do that. I don't know that I want to get up to 2 card plays. It's just very expensive with my cards. So I might go top track and maybe unlock a 2nd card play next turn. Yeah, I don't know if that's good, but maybe that's what I'm doing. Maybe 0 card plays, I don't know. I haven't really looked into what other people do with Vengeance, so I'm not sure what the best strategies are with the Spirit. I haven't played it enough to really develop any on my own. Let's give this a shot though. I'm going to go ahead and do a double growth from top. So add a presence to a land with town, city, or blight. Let's go into land 2. And I'll also go into land 8. That'll get me 2 energy. And I think I'll play Fetid Breath, spells and spreads infection, so I can try to get some more disease out on the board. So going top track. We'll see how this works. Okay, so that's my turn. I have no fast powers because I don't hit the requirements for those. So I'm going to go straight into the invader phase. Flip an event just for timing. And then they're going to go ahead and build in mountains. Do I want to let that build go through? It's a little risky. I've got a lot of towns on the board already. So let's stop that build. And that's that. And then I'm going to explore in wetlands. So both wetlands have towns already, so they're just getting explorers. If I can stop the one from building a city in land number 1, that's probably good because of triangle trade. So let's go ahead and try that. Alright. So that was the exploration. Next up, I'm going to go to slow powers. So my slow powers here, I just have Fetid Breath, spreads infection. So that's 1 fear. And I can go ahead and add a disease. And let's do it over in land number 1. Alright. Fast first turn. I discard that. And I'm going to go back to growth. And I really think I want to get up to like a lot of energy pretty rapidly. I'm probably going to be going major powers this game. So let's go to, I could go straight to 4 energy, but probably not a great idea. Can't stop that ravage, but that's fine, I think. I kind of want to let myself get destroyed a little bit more. I'm going to do another double growth, I think. This time from top and bottom. So now I have 3 energy per turn and 2 card plays. Let's go in there. And I can go in here too. I'll just kind of go everywhere the invaders are and see if that's a good strategy. Seems okay. Alright, and then I have 3 energy. Which will let me play a couple things. I don't want Fiery Vengeance. Actually, I don't really want Strike Low with Sudden Fevers. I can't even do that, really. So maybe just Plague Bears? I'm letting a couple Ravages happen. So yeah, I'm only playing 1 card this turn, so instead of going from bottom, I'm going to go from top. I'm going all top track, which will let me get a major next turn. Turn 3 major, and I'll go Plague Bearers. So I only have 1 card play, but I think that's okay, because I can do growth 3 next time and get to 2. Sure. Yeah, we'll see if that actually works. So that's my turn. I, again, don't think I have any... Yeah, I've only got 2 animals, so I don't hit any of my innates, so I have new fast powers. So I'm going to go into an event. And still healthy for right now. Putting down roots. On an inland land on each board, replace 1 explorer with 1 town. So not really what I want to do, but that's okay. I think this will be dead anyway, so that's fine. Alright, and then stricken invaders do not ravage in lands with disease or strife. Okay. Drive off the interlopers. Each player may push 1 explorer or town from a land with Dahan. Just 1. So I can do this one over yonder. That'll just make it a little easier to deal with. Actually, I'm gonna put him into the, yeah. So if they explore in jungle, they won't get the double explore. Could be sands, but that's okay. Alright, so that's that. Next is going to be the invaders. So they're gonna go ahead and ravage in mountains. So I'm gonna lose 2. I'm gonna lose that Dahan as well. That's fine. Lose 2 presence. And when I lose presence, I add disease in those lands. They're going to get blighted as well. Animals going crazy here. But that's okay, I think. Alright, so that's the Ravage. Next up is Build in Wetlands. I'm not going to let that build happen because I don't want more towns off. And then they'll build a city in here. That's fine. And hopefully this is jungles, not wetland, or not sands. Ah, it's sands. That's going to be harder to deal with. So I get 2 explorers there. And 2 explorers there. I'm going to have to start killing some of these towns. Okay. So that's that. Now I go to slow power, so I'm going to go to Plague Bearers. 1 fear if invaders are present for each. I may push. Oh, that's right, I have to push. So actually I'm going to retcon slightly here, because I forgot I have Plague Bearer push, and actually let that build go through. Yeah, that's fine. And so Plague Bearers on this land, 1 fear if invaders are present, which they are. For each disease, I can push 2 explorers, towns, or Dahan. So let me go ahead and push a town and I guess the Dahan. And 1 disease may move with each piece. So I'll go ahead and move that guy too. So that was Plague Bearers. Okay, that was my slow power. Now I'm going to go to growth again. And I realized I forgot. I been using markers to tell which growth option I've been on. I apologize that I forgot to do that earlier. As I said, it's been a couple weeks since I played. I have been doing growth 2, first 2 turns. This time I'm going to do growth 3, and I'm going to gain 1 energy, and also I will gain a major. And let's go ahead and gain a major. I've got Pent-Up Calamity, that's pretty good. Cleansing Floods, Mists of Oblivion, and the Trees and Stones Speak of War. I don't think there's really a choice here. It's going to be Pent-Up Calamity. And I'll just forget from discard. I'll forget Fetid Breath spreads infection. Okay. I can also add a presence or disease. I think I'd like to get to 2 card plays, just because it's going to be hard to do anything otherwise. So let's add a presence. I can wipe everything out there, which is pretty good. Okay, cool. So let's add that presence. Let's see. Wetlands are ravaging. It's going to be a blighted island, but I'm really not too worried about that. More worried about France's lost condition. So let's get in here and try to do something about that. And especially because I have the escalation coming up soon. Okay, so I get 4 energy. And I have 2 card plays. I'm going to play Fiery Vengeance and Pent-Up Calamity. Okay. Yeah, those are my card plays. So let's go into the fast phase. So for fast powers, I'm going to use Fiery Vengeance. I remove 1 of my destroyed presence from the game. Then I do 1 fear and 1 damage. I'm going to do that into this land because it's got in one of my lands. Because it's got a disease there that counts as a bad lands. So, good boy, Percy. So I do 1 extra damage. So I kill that, and I finally have a fear card. And my town pool is a little more leeway to go. Pent-Up Calamity. So I've got a couple options here. Let's go with, I'm going to remove the beast to do 3 damage and 1 fear. So it's an extra fear because I destroyed a town. Okay, yeah, that's that turn. Alright. So that was fast powers. Let's see, do I have any of my innates? I have 2 fire, 2 animal, which is unfortunately kind of the worst combination here, so I don't hit either of my innates, but that's okay. So let me go ahead and go into the invader phase. So I have an event first. Still, for now, have a healthy island. Civic engagement on each board, remove 1 strife. If you can't, invaders do +1 damage when ravaging in lands with towns and cities. Casualties of Fang and Sting. On each board, destroy 1 explorer or town in a land with beasts. Oh well, alright, remove my beasts, but that's okay. And then keep far from the lands of plague. On each board, push 3 to Han from lands with disease to lands without disease. Well, that's gonna push this to Han away. I'll get him up into there. Well, I guess I can push him over here. Oh, it has to be a land without disease, so I'll push him over into land 1 instead. Fear card. Terror level 1. Each town destroys one explorer in its land. That's it. Scapegoats. Alright. I go to a Ravage. So, Ravage here. Kill that guy. Ravage here. It's going to destroy my presence. Which adds a disease. And a blight. And I get to a Still Healthy Island card. So on the Still Healthy Island card, invaders find the land to their liking. Immediately, if the terror level is 1, 2, or 3, add 1, 1.5, or 2 fear markers per player to the fear pool. I don't love that, but it's probably okay. So still have a healthy island. So I get an extra fear to that fear pool. It's going to be 5 per fear card now. Okay. So that was the Ravage. Next up I have the build. So they're going to build 2 towns in here, removing 1 of their explorers for that. And right here, I don't want to let that build go through because the escalation is about to happen, and that might make me add a town. I've only got 1 left to add. Next is Coastal, so no escalation, which is good. It'll heal at the end of the turn, which is fine. And things are still looking rough. Alright. And then I had no slow powers, so don't have to worry about that. Discard. Back to growth. Alright, so I want to gain another major this turn. Question is whether I want to reclaim or add a presence for that. Getting the extra fire is probably pretty good. I do have fire on this card. And this is going to be my... Okay, so this is going to be my Slave Rebellion, so I think reclaiming is good because I can get an extra strife. So I am going to reclaim. Which gets me an energy, gains a power card. I'm going to gain another major because I've got a lot of energy. I'm going to have 4 more. So on this, let's see, I've got Vigor, that's nice. Grant Hatred, a Ravenous Form. It's not bad. Blood-Rack Plague and Talons of Lightning. Ooh. Interesting. Okay. Grant Hatred, a Ravenous Form is probably pretty good this game. For each strife disease in target land, 1 fear and 2 damage. If this destroys all invaders, then I add an animal. Blood-Rack Plague, also very, very good. As much as I like Vigor, and as strong as Vigor is, I don't think this is a Vigor game. I'm going between Grant Hatred, a Ravenous Form, and Blood-Rack Plague. So let's see. The Ravaging Sands? Okay. Pent-Up Calamity, I would get the first level of that. I don't have a Sacred Site though. Okay. Yeah, that makes it trickier. I guess I won't be able to use that this turn. So yeah, let's go with Grant Hatred, Ravenous Form. Whereas back where it was before. Yeah, good boy. Settle down. Okay. Alright, so Grant Hatred, and what am I gonna forget? Not Fiery Vengeance. I'll probably forget Plague Bearers. It's a good card, but I'll strike low with Sudden Fevers. I'm probably not scrapping Ravages anymore. Let's just forget that one. Alright, I get 4 energy. And I have 2 card plays. So let's go with Pent-Up Calamity and Grant Hatred or Ravenous Form. Fortunately, I don't get the kicker for Pent-Up Calamity yet. Shoot. Well, that's unfortunate. But I think it's okay. Okay. So expensive to play these 2 cards without kickers, but maybe it'll be worth it. Maybe it's better next turn. I don't know. We'll see. I do have a Slave Rebellion coming up, so that's going to help. Okay. So I go right into Fast Powers. Yeah, I'm not hitting my innates whatsoever. If I had that fire unlocked, it would be a lot better, but I don't, so can't change that. Okay. Alright, so Fast Powers. I can add a Disease and a Strife, which I will do in land number 3. And that's it for Fast Powers for me. So I'm going to go to an event, which is going to be a Slave Rebellion. So Small Uprising. On each board, add 1 Strife to 1 town. And then after finishing the event card, draw another one, return this to the deck. So let's just do it in here. Alright. And then Aid the Uprising. Invaders with Strife take 1 damage per Dahan present. Add 1 Dahan per town city this destroys. So each of these takes 2 damage. So they both die. Which gives me 2 fear. And I add 2 Dahan there. Which is pretty good. Alright, so I put that back under the top 3 cards and draw another event. Lesser Spirits Imperiled. The invader's spread is threatening many of the island's smaller spirits. You may tend to your own strength. Each spirit gains 1 energy. Discard 1 minor power per player from the deck. For each with plant, remove 1 blight from the blight card, returning it to the box. For each with animal, destroy 1 Dahan in a land with blight. Or I can forge a web of mutual support for energy per player aided by plant. And each spirit destroys 1 of their presence. Each spirit gains 1 permanent element for the rest of the game. Choose separately now. Okay, well. I mean, I like the permanent element. It doesn't help me this turn, though. And that is expensive for me to do. So I think I'm going to tend to my own strength. Discard 1 minor power from the deck. It's got plant, so I remove 1 blight from the blight card, returning it to the box. No animal. Great through sacrifice. Alright. Quit the farmed lands on each board. I push 1. I don't have any beasts, so that's fine. And then return to Old Pillars. On each board, gather 1 or 2 Dahan into a land with Dahan setup symbols. Okay. Let's go with one of these guys over yonder. Okay, I go to a Ravage, so they will unfortunately do enough damage there. These guys will die in the retaliation. Another disease there. And then nothing there. Build in coastal. So they will get 2 towns there. Can't let that go through. And then explore in mountains. It's pretty dangerous. With escalation, so the escalation is demand for new cash crops, so after exploring, pick a land of the shown terrain if it has... Oh wait, and I actually need to go to my Blighted Island card, which is Promising Farmlands. So that's immediately on each board. Add 1 town and 1 city to an inland land with no towns or cities. That's the last town I can add. I need to get rid of some. Okay. We'll see what happens. Okay, so that's that. Okay. Let's see how this goes. So I do have to add a blight. Let's go ahead. It's going to cascade anyway. So I can clear one of those out potentially. I don't know if I'll be able to stop that. Well, maybe I do. Oh, I got rid of Strike Low with Sudden Fever, so maybe not. That's okay. Let's do it here. And I'll have it cascade over yonder, which destroys my presence. That does add a disease. Okay. So that's that. Alright, so that was the escalation. Now I'm going to go slow powers. I have Grant Hatred, a Ravenous Form. For each strife and disease in target land, I can do 1 fear and 2 damage. So I'm going to use that right here. And I also treat disease as, or blight as badlands. So I'm going to do 6 damage in that land, which is enough to clear it out. And I get 4 fear for that. So that's 1, 2, 3, which is pretty good. Didn't kill a town, so I still have no towns available to put on the board, but they were going to build there, so yeah, that's definitely worth it. If this destroys all invaders in target land, which it did, add 1 beast. I don't use that card very often. I should do it more. And that was the only one, so discard. Okay. So I made it through the Slave Rebellion. I've got a lot of blight on the board, but that's okay. That's okay. 2 left on the Blighted Island card. A little dangerous, but doable. And they're going to ravage in coastal. So I got to do something about that coastal wetland. So let's see. So I can probably try to move in there. Except Fiery Vengeance, I'm not going to get Epidemics run rampant. This is a tricky situation. So what do I want to do for growth? I think I do want to go into growth 3. I don't want to gimp myself and not grow. I'm going to go in here, see if I can do anything about this land. I gain an energy for that. And a power card. And do I want a major or minor? Let's see. Tough choice. Major or minor? If I was live streaming, I would ask the audience what they wanted to do. I like both majors that I have. I don't want to forget either of them. But I'm still stuck with 2 card plays, so I think I need a major, especially since I have a lot of energy. Okay, what do I have? And let's see, did I already add the presents in there? Because I can add the presents after yeah. Let's wait to add the presents until after I see what the majors are. Animals fighting. So thickets erupt with every touch of breeze. It needs a sacred site, so that's potentially good. Angry bears are pretty good elements. Voice of command and pyroclastic flow. So that targets inland. I can't let that coastal wetlands cascade. So I might need to go Voice of Command even though it's off element. Yeah, I'd rather take Angry Bears, but just because of the potential of an early loss, I'm going to have to go Voice of Command. Don't really like it, but it is what it is. I'll just forget Plague Bearers, I think. Yeah, that's fine. So Voice of Command. I'll add that presence in here because I need the Sacred Site. And then play Voice of Command and Fiery Vengeance. I get 4 energy. And that's my growth. So let's go into that's it. Okay. So let's go into stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and use Fiery Vengeance. Remove one of my destroyed presence from the game and do 1 fear and 1 damage here, which is enough to kill that town. It gets me another fear, so I'll have 2 fear cards this turn. And then Voice of Command, I'm going to use targeting land 1, so 1 damage per Dahan and an Explorer to towns and cities only. I have Badlands there, so it's 3 damage. So I'll do that. Do 1 damage here. This is also defended 2. And then during Ravage actions, Explorers fight alongside Dahan. So I'll at least be able to keep that land from cascading, which is good. Okay. So those are my fast powers. I'm going into an event. I'm in stage 2, so no bravery without numbers. Invaders do not ravage in lands unless there are more invaders than the current terror level. Okay, so they will still ravage there, which is fine. And then prey on the heedless. In each land with beasts, 1 damage per beast. And then leave the hostile land. In each land, push one ton per disease or badlands to lands without disease or badlands. That's okay, actually. So let's go ahead and go into there. I've got to push push 2 of these guys. Let's push them in there. I've got to push 1 of these. Let's push that there. Two fear cards, still terror level 1. Dahan on their guard, and each land defend 1 per Dahan. And invaders do not build in lands with cities. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Let's go into a... Let's go into the invaders. So they're going to Ravage and Coastal. These guys, this is defended 2. And then also the explorers are fighting alongside my Dahan, which is cool. So they're going to deal 1 damage to that town and kill it. Great job, Explorer. Thank you for fighting with me. So that was pretty good. That's the Coastal Ravage. Next is going to be Build in Mountains. I'm going to let the build go through. I think, let's see, it'll be a little bit harder to deal with the city, but I think I can. Now that I've got some stuff. So yeah, let's let that go through, and that gets me a fear. And then explore in Sands with escalation. So that's fine. I've got to add a town to one of those lands. Let's do it over here. And that's going to be a problem, but that's a future turn problem. Not worried about it right now. Okay. So that was from demand for new cash crops. Now I go into slow powers, which I have none of. So I will discard and go back to growth. I am reclaiming. That's me an energy. And let's gain another major. I probably don't need Voice of Command anymore, so I can forget that. Cast down into the Briny Deep, Insatiable Hunger of the Swarm, Utter Curse of Dread and Bone, and Dissolve the Bonds of Kinship. I don't have enough blight to play with to do Insatiable Hunger, otherwise that might be a good one. So between Utter Curse of Dread and Bone and Dissolve the Bonds of Kinship, both good. The elements are really nice on Dissolve the Bonds for Vengeance. Utter Curse of Dread and Bone, though, is very nice. And that'll let me get Epidemics Run Rampant, and not quite the kicker for Pent-Up Calamity. But that's fine, I think. Let's go Utter Curse of Dread and Bone. I'm just going to forget Voice of Command. It was nice, but I'm not going to use it again. I get 4 energy. Gives me a lot of energy to play with. And let's see. Got 3 majors here, 2 card plays. So I'm definitely playing Pent-Up Calamity, and I'd like to get to the 2nd level of Epidemics Run Rampant, or at least 1 level, so I can finally use one of my innate powers. So to get that, I do need to use Utter Curse of Dread and Bone, which is fine. Still not quite getting the kickers on these majors, though, which is unfortunate, but I think it's fine. Okay, that's good. That's actually going to let me clear a lot. So as long as I survive through the invader phase of France, which I think I should, they're going to build a lot of towns, but that's okay. As long as I survive through the invader phase of France, I think I'll be okay here. All right. So those are my card plays. I'm going to go into fast powers. So first up, Pent Up Calamity. I'm going to add a Strife into the city. And add a Disease, which I keep near me. It's fortunate. I'm only doing 1 damage per. I can't return them. Well, let's see what happens. So I'm going to go ahead and do 1 damage per disease. Let's do 2 damage to the town, which gets me a fear, and then I have a Badlands there. So I can also do 1 additional damage. Do a damage to the town and hope that I get an event that does the damage. Or kill the explorer. Let's do damage to the town. Couldn't quite take it out. So this might be a loss in the Ravage. We'll see. Let's play it out. So event. Dahan, trade with the invaders. Some seek knowledge, some are interested in tools and trade goods. Still others simply curious. All hope to avoid violence, and the invaders seem amenable, at least for now. They're liars. You may ignore their interest. Dahan, do not participate in ravages this turn. Display your wrath at this betrayal. Cost is 2 energy per player, aided by fire, which I can do pretty well. Each spirit with Dahan in their lands destroys one of them and generates 1 fear. Gets me a fear card, which is pretty good. How many of these have I done? Why am I... Should be 4, 5, 4. Did I mix these up? I should be... Yeah, I'm 1 away from Terror level 2, not 2 away. So I can get to Terror level 2. Terror level 2 fear card's good. Or change and help them learn from the enemy. 6 energy per player, aided by air. Dahan did not participate in ravages. From the next turn on, they defend, defend 1. Okay. I'm going to display my wrath at their betrayal. I have 2 fire, so that's free for me. So I will destroy 1 Dahan. Generate 1 fear, which gets me a fear card for Terror level 2. And then Outbreak Shift. On each board, push 1 disease to the adjacent land with the most invaders. So that's going to be this. Actually, there's a tie. So I can push this disease in here, which is pretty nice. Because there's a tie 3 ways, actually. So 3 here, 3 here, 3 here. So I'm just going to push the disease in there. Seems pretty good. Okay, level 2 fear card, save me. Each player may push, each player chooses a different land. In chosen lands, gather up to 2 Dahan, then 1 damage if Dahan are present. That'll do it. So right here, let me gather 1 Dahan. And then 1 damage because Dahan are present. It's not going to stop the Dahan from dying. Oh no, it's only my actions that treat that as Badlands, so I don't have to worry about that actually. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so that's a fear for killing that town. Looking much better shape now. Dahan and Hardened. Okay. Then I go to the Ravage. So, Ravage here. Ravage in Mountains. They're going to do 1 damage to the land here, which is not enough. 1 damage to Dahan. Dahan will fight back, and they will kill the city and explorer. That's 2 fear. That was the Ravage. Next is going to be Build and Sands. I'm going to stop those because I don't want a ton of towns being built. And then they're going to explore in jungle, which is totally fine. Just one each. Do have to do something about the Ravages, but that's okay. And then they both have towns, so I do have to add a disease. Last level 2. Okay, stage 2. Alright, cool. So I'm getting there. We'll see how this goes. It's gonna be close. I've got 1 blight left on the Blighted Island card. So it's tricky, but I have the board kind of under control, so I just have to do something about these Ravages. So I have Utter a Curse of Dread and Bone for each blight in or adjacent to target land. I can add 1 Badlands, 1 Disease, or 1 Strife. Max 3 of each, and then 2 Fear and 1 Damage. So, where do I want to do that? Let's go ahead and do that. I could clear out that Sands to stop the Ravage, which is probably okay. And that might be the easiest way for me to stop it. So yeah, let's do it right here. So I'm gonna add 2 Badlands. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 things, so I get to add 4 tokens. So I will add 2 Badlands and 2 Disease. I don't quite have the kicker. Missing out on the kickers for these majors has been killing me. And then 2 Fear and 1 Damage, which does 3 damage because of the Badlands and kills all of those explorers. That'll get me another Fear card. And I think I'm getting close to Slave Rebellion. 1 away. So, 1 more turn. Okay, so that's that. Not the most efficient use. I was hoping to kill a city or 2 with Utter a Curse of Dread and Bone, but it stops a Ravage next turn, so that's okay. So that's fine. Discard those. And I go back to growth. And I would like to actually grow. And not just be stuck in a reclaim cycle. There's 1 range on that card. Okay. I do have Fiery Vengeance. I can try to get in there and rely on a Fear card or something, removing one of those explorers, which is possible. It's a little risky. Let me go, yeah, I'm going to go growth 3. Add a presence. Before I add the presence, I'll get a card. I'm going to gain another major. Just keep cycling majors, because I keep having energy for them, so. Poison Land, not tenable. Tiger's Hunting, also not doable. Paralyzing Fright's good. Vengeance of the Dead, actually not bad. It's got great elements for me. And it'll let me clear out land 3, and then I can worry about the other things next turn. 3 fear, yeah, that's doable. I like the elements on it. So let's go with Vengeance of the Dead. Usually don't take it, but I think this game it's good. Paralyzing Freight, also nice, but not as good elements. I will just forget. I need Fiery Vengeance. Event of Calamity, pretty good. Don't want to forget that. So it's between Utter a Curse of Dread and Bone and Grant Hatred a Ravenous Form that I'm going to forget. Both very good cards. I think I like Utter a Curse of Dread and Bone better, and it's going to be easier for me to hit the kicker on that eventually once I get to 3 card plays, so let's forget that. Forgetting Grant Hatred, Vengeance of the Dead is on. And yeah, mounting a presence into this land and playing both my cards after I get 4 energy. And keep trading these out for 3s. Okay, let's do it. So, going into fast powers, I'm going to play Vengeance of the Dead on this land here. It's 3 fear. And after each effect that destroys 1 town, city, Dahan, and target land, 1 damage per town, city, Dahan that was destroyed. Then I'm going to use Fiery Vengeance, targeting this land here. I will remove 1 of my destroyed presence from the game. 1 fear and 1 damage, which does an extra damage thanks to that Badlands. So that's 2 fear. Gets me a fear card. And then, thanks to Vengeance of the Dead, I do 1 damage per town that was destroyed. That becomes 2 damage and kills both of these explorers. So 2 cards to deal with 1 land. It's not very efficient at this point in the game, but I've got 1 blight left on the white card, so I have to do what I can. Alright, so that's that. Next up, I'm going back into an event. Slave Rebellion. Did I count that right? I feel like it should be under more things. Oh, okay. Thought it was 1 turn away. No, I guess not. Okay, well, miscounted. So I'm in stage 3 now, so I get Rebellion. On each board, destroy 1 town. So let's go into here. Gets me a fear. Add 1 strife to any 2 towns and cities. So that one for sure. And that one. Then every invader takes 1 damage per strife that it has after finishing the event, and I draw another one. Aid the Uprising. Invaders with strife take 1 damage per Dahan present. So that'll take 2. Badlands doesn't count because it's not one of my powers, my actions. So that's that. So I maybe could have done better with that. Messed up a little bit. I thought it was a turn away. Oh well. So on the Blighted Island, lands Hollow of Promise. On each board, add 1 blight to a land without 1. Spirits may prevent this on any and all boards by destroying 2 presents on each board to be protected, which I need to do. So that gets me down to 1, which is not great, but that is okay. Beast Chase Off Homesteaders. On each board, push 1 town or 2 explorers from a land with beasts, and then rally to the defense of Distant Kin. On each board, gather 1 Dahan into a land with Dahan. In that land, defend 1 per Dahan. So I'll put this guy in here just because I want more Dahan there. 2 fear cards. On each board, remove 1 town. Okay. Now I have no towns on the board, which is pretty good. If I can clear these cities, I would win, which is possible. So yeah, it's doable for sure. So then, yeah, that's that. Depopulation, and then Dahan reclaim fishing grounds. Each player chooses a different coastal land, gather up to 1 Dahan, and then 1 damage per Dahan. Yeah, I'll do that. It has to be coastal, unfortunately. Alright, no ravages happen. Build in jungles. I will stop that build. I will build a town here. And then explore in jungles and wetlands. Not ideal. Okay. Alrighty, and then I go to slow powers, which I have none. I don't think. Actually, I do have 3 fire and 2 animal, so I do. So I can do 1 damage. I actually don't know that I want to destroy that city, though, because it's got a strife under it. So I can do 1 damage here. Do the town or the city? Tricky. So I can do 2 damage there because it's got a blight. Let's go ahead and do off center. Let's do the town. Gets me a fear. Then I go to the end of the turn. And this will heal up, which is fine. And I'm back to growth. So I'm going to reclaim, which gains me a power card. It might be time for a minor because I'm going to go to 3 card plays next turn. So let's do it. I've got decent enough majors. I can grab them. My first minor. Mesmerized Tranquility is okay. Thriving Choke Fungus. The Shore Seethes with Hatred. And Favor of the Sun and Starlit Dark. Which is Defend, which is okay. I might end up with a simultaneous, with the Sacrifice victory of this game. Which if I can push for that, I'm okay with it. It's a level 5 France win. I mean, if I can push for the real victory, I will, but Sacrifice victory is okay. It's okay. So those need Sacred Sites, which I don't have, so I can't choose those. So Mesmerized Tranquility or the Shore Seethes with Hatred. Let's just go Mesmerized Tranquility. Might not use it, but that's okay. Okay, so at this point, I've got 1 Blight on the card. They are Ravaging Jungle. That's going to be hard to stop, so I think I have to push for a win in the fast phase now. Unfortunately, there's only 2 cities left, so that is doable. So let's go ahead and play Pent-Up Calamity, of course. It's a great card. Basically cheating whenever I feel like it's too cheap for what it does. And can't do enough damage to kill that. City. I'm going to retcon slightly here. So, last turn I killed a town in this land using Savage Vengeance. I did 1 damage. Instead, I'm going to kill the city. Because the city had 1 health left. So, just needed to do 1 damage to it. Gets me 1 extra fear. I know I have seen new information. I've seen the minor. I promise that didn't factor into this decision because I'm not even using that minor power this turn. So, it doesn't matter. So, slight retcon. Apologize if anybody gets mad about that, but it's going to let me win, and that's good. So, with that, I'll play Fiery Vengeance. Go straight into fast powers. So, Fiery Vengeance, I'm going to remove one of my destroyed powers from the game. 2 damage in this land, killing that town. And then Pent Up Calamity, I'm going to remove that Strife, dealing 3 damage to the city. And now there are no towns or cities on the board, so I win a Terror level 2 victory against level 5 France. So interesting. This was a fun one. I have not played Vengeance as a Burning Plague in a while. The brinksmanship is a little disconcerting. Makes it tough, but that's kind of the fun thing about it. I got pretty lucky with major powers, I think, which is why I just kept getting major powers and never got up to 3 card plays. Even though I was like 1 element off of hitting the kicker from them a couple times, even without the kickers, I was still doing well. So let's see, what's today? Today's the 15th. I'm going to be posting this later on, but that's fine. My first true solo game that's been posted in a while. I didn't have to get the sacrifice victory. What I was banking on, if I was going for the sacrifice victory, was the Ravage here happening. Tahan kill the city, but I also lose my presence in that same action, and I have no blight or presence left to do, but there are no buildings on the board. But I didn't need to. I was able to kill all of the buildings, so it worked out. Hopefully I didn't mess up any major rules this game. Always a possibility. This was probably close to an hour, even just true solo. I'll have to check. I know I take a while when I'm with spirits that I'm not super familiar with, and Vengeance definitely fits that bill. Let's see, Blighted Island card was promising farmlands. This was board B, with Vengeance as a Burning Plague. So let me go ahead and score this up, and then I can go ahead and feed these animals that have been bothering me for this whole game. Alright. So cards left in the deck, I had 4. Tahan left on the board, 5. Blight, a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blight on the island. Terror level was 2. I had 4 lands occupied with invaders with 4, 6, 7 health left. Not a lot, so this was a 60-point game. Not too bad. I'm okay with that. Not for a difficulty 9 game. It's a little low, but I'll take it. This was a pretty fun one. I do like Vengeance. I feel like I relied on the major powers that I got, which maybe isn't playing the spirit to the spirit as much. I only used Epidemics Run Rampant once and Savage Revenge once, which is a little weird to not use the innate powers at all. Although I did use the special rules a lot, made good use of those. So my little venomous lizard here did well. So hopefully you enjoyed that. First true solo game in a while. First game against France. First game with Vengeance in a while. So that was fun. Good game for me. I will try to go back to two-handed games next up. But thank you for watching. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see y'all later.